Let's see. It appears your mother's incidental expenses included regular monthly transfers to a company called VBK Entertainment. I wasn't aware your mother developed an interest in online entertainment services while in a coma. I doubt she was placing bets on which nurse would walk through the door next, was she?
And here, another monthly payment to Fast Cash Financial. So, let me get this straight.
You weren't prolonging your mother's life hoping for a miracle. You were prolonging it hoping Manchester United will win.
In Judge Helen Carter's courtroom, the tension was heavier than the silence itself. The plaintiff was Leo Martinez, a young man with a deep pain etched in his eyes. Across from him sat the defendant, David Martinez, Leo's own brother. He repeatedly rubbed his eyes, trying to squeeze out a sorrow that wasn't there. Judge Carter began, her gaze fixed on Leo. "Mr. Martinez, you are suing your own brother. This is never an easy thing. Tell the court what happened." Leo took a deep breath, his voice trembling. "Your Honor, 6 months ago, our mother, Maria, suffered a severe stroke and was put on life support. But my mother was a planner. She had a living will, a notarized advance directive, that stated very clearly she did not want to be kept in a vegetative state for more than a month if there was no hope of recovery. I loved my mother." Leo's voice cracked. "But I also respected her wishes. In her will, she appointed both of us as decision makers, believing we would always be in agreement. After a month, when the doctors confirmed there was no hope, I was prepared to say goodbye. But my brother, David, used that to unilaterally veto her wishes. He blocked the doctors, forcing our mother to lie there in that condition for 6 more months." Judge Carter listened intently, then turned to David. Her eyes were as sharp as a razor. "All right, Mr. Martinez," she said, her voice devoid of emotion. "Your brother says your mother had a clear legal document stating, 'Pull the plug after 1 month,' and you decided you knew better than your mother and her attorney. Is that the long and short of it?" David began his performance, wiping away a non-existent tear. "Your Honor, it wasn't about knowing better. It was love. How could I let my mother go? I prayed every day, hoping for a miracle. I fought to keep her with us. I am a devoted son." And him, he just wanted to deal with our mother quickly to avoid the hassle. Judge Carter leaned back, her expression steeped in skepticism. "A devoted son, how admirable. So let me ask you this. Your mother went to the trouble of hiring a lawyer, contemplating her own mortality, writing down her specific wishes, all so you could ignore it because you had a feeling a miracle was coming. Let me ask you, besides this feeling your mother would recover, did you also have a feeling about tonight's winning lottery numbers? Because the odds on that might have been better." David was flustered. "Your Honor, I don't understand." "I think you do." The judge cut in. "You claim your brother wanted to save money. So, during those 6 extended months, where did the money for her hospital bills come from?" David lifted his chin as if this were his moment. "My mother had a critical illness insurance policy. The money was used to cover incidental expenses and to prepare for a funeral befitting her." Incidental expenses. Judge Carter raised an eyebrow. "Oh, what a lovely phrase. That's the term people use when they don't want to say what they really spent the money on. So, what did you spend it on?" I used it for costs related to her care." David stammered. Leo signaled to his lawyer. "Your Honor, we have the defendant's bank statements for those 6 months. The documents were submitted." Judge Carter put on her glasses and reviewed them. The courtroom was silent. David began to sweat.
Let's see. It appears your mother's incidental expenses included regular monthly transfers to a company called VBK Entertainment. I wasn't aware your mother developed an interest in online entertainment services while in a coma. I doubt she was placing bets on which nurse would walk through the door next, was she?
And here, another monthly payment to Fast Cash Financial. So, let me get this straight.
You weren't prolonging your mother's life hoping for a miracle. You were prolonging it hoping Manchester United will win.
David looked utterly defeated. But then, in his desperation, a flash of anger lit his eyes. He whipped his head toward Leo. His voice was almost a shout, echoing through the room. Yes, I used the money! But don't you pretend you're a saint here. Leo, don't you play the part of the devoted son in front of her. Leo was startled. What nonsense are you talking about? Judge Carter's brow furrowed, a look of dangerous interest on her face. Oh, it seems there's another chapter to this story. Continue, Mr. Martinez. David pointed a finger at Leo. Ask him why he called me 5 times a day. It wasn't out of concern. It was because he was waiting for the inheritance. He dumped all his savings into crypto and lost everything. He needed Mom's money to pay off his debts. Leo shot to his feet, furious. Shut up! You're lying to save yourself. The gavel slammed down. Sit down! Both of you! Judge Carter commanded, then turned her piercing gaze on Leo. Mr. Martinez, I have a simple question for you. Is it or is it not true that you are in serious financial trouble? Leo faltered, avoiding the judge's eyes. Your Honor, that's not relevant. It is supremely relevant. The judge's voice snapped. You're suing your brother for needlessly prolonging your mother's suffering. But if your motive was also money, then you are no different from him. Answer me. Are you in debt? Leo looked down at the floor. His silence was the only answer the court needed. David added, his voice laced with venom. Check his phone! David, I'm about to go bankrupt. David, please, I need the money now. He wanted her to die, Your Honor. He was wishing for her death every single day to save his own wallet. A stunned silence fell over the courtroom. Leo slumped into his chair, his face in his hands. Judge Carter shook her head, an expression of utter disgust on her face, but this time it was for both brothers. Unbelievable. Maria Martinez worked her entire life, raised 2 sons, and wrote a clear final wish so she wouldn't be a burden to anyone. And in the end, her final days were bartered over by her own children. One used her as an ATM to pay his gambling debts. The other was hoping she'd die sooner to pay off his investment losses. She looked at them both, her voice ice cold. You both disgust me. You were unworthy of your mother's love. Judgment! The insurance money received by the defendant during those 6 months is to be returned in its entirety to the estate of Mrs. Martinez. The estate will be divided according to the law. The plaintiff's claim for emotional distress is denied. The only thing that's been distressed here is your bank account. Now get out of my courtroom, both of you. Case dismissed. As the courtroom doors closed behind the Martinez brothers, it didn't just end a lawsuit, it put a final, tragic end to a family. Mrs. Maria's tragedy was not that she passed away, but that her final days were turned into a tool to serve the greed of her own sons. This case is a bitter reminder that when money is placed above kinship, there are no winners. In the end, in the fight for their mother's inheritance, both Martinez brothers lost in the most pathetic way possible.